Hi, and thanks for joining us for Round 3, the Missed Apex Formula Renault Challenge. Today we're racing at the famous Suzuka GP circuit in Japan. This is one of the legendary F1 tracks. It is fast and flowing with long straights and some real challenges. Overtaking opportunities are few and far between, so you've got to take them when they come. Playing it safe doesn't work around here. To get us underway today, please give a big welcome to your commentators, Chris Stevens and Chris Catman Turner.
Konnichiwa, everybody. Good evening and welcome to Suzuka for round 3 of the Missed Apex Formula Renault Challenge, where the battle for the Season 2 crown continues. My name is Chris Stevens and I'll be your lead commentator this evening. Joining me as always is Chris Catman Turner. Chris, you excited to be back at Suzuka?
My heart rate is massively elevated, Chris, not because of technical issues, but because we are happy to be here in Suzuka. You're absolutely right. What a wonderful circuit this is.
Absolutely. And of course, where we rounded out the Season 1 season as well, where we crowned David Hatton the inaugural champion, and he goes into this round 3 as the championship leader after claiming 3 podiums at the last round in Imola, overhauling quite a sizable margin that Danny Henny had after the first round at the Nürburgring. So it swings and roundabouts, and it could be all change again this weekend, Chris.
It is. I think when we came into this season, everybody expected Danny to be the runaway champion this year because he's just got such immense pace. But Hatton has been a bit of a dark horse. He's really snuck up on him, and he's given him a real challenge right to the end.
And if you want to see how he got a 19-point lead over Danny Henny, and you haven't been joining us for the first 2 races so far this season, then we've got a handy VT to get you up to speed. With a new qualifying format, point system and drivers, Season 2 of the Missed Apex Formula Renault Challenge kicked off at the Nürburgring, where Danny Henny and Alexander Dobesberger brawled for the lead in Race 1, with the latter coming out on top. Dobesberger fancies another run at him into the chicane. Oh, he's gone through the chicane though! And this could be Dobesberger's one opportunity to take the lead of the race, and Henny has to let him through. Here comes Alexander Dobesberger to win his second Formula Renault Challenge race. Henny would redeem himself in Race 2 as he came through the field to win in the first of the 2 reverse grid races, with a further podium in Race 3, securing him an early lead in the championship.
Let's see who's going to be able to make it through cleanly.
Yeah, it's all a bit of a traffic jam down at the chicane at the moment, but Henny with the inside line makes his way through into that 4th place spot. Here comes Danny Henny to take his first victory of the season. Basso in 2nd, and James Wingfield is just gonna sneak over the line in 3rd place. Reigning champion David Hatton took the final honours of the night, sending out a statement that he would not be relinquishing his title easily. Hatton making his way down the back straight and up towards that chicane, and it's been a pretty decent start to his championship defence. Pretty much a typical Hatton weekend. Maybe he isn't the absolute fastest guy in the field, but he knows how to put in a damn good lap time and how to navigate the field safely. And here he comes to take his first victory of the season. Hatton was true to his word, as 3 podium finishes at Imola earned him the championship lead, while Henny, after a strong victory in Race 1, faced a difficult evening. They go into the Variante Alta for the final time. Danny Henny is making his way out of Rivazza corner for the final time and comes across the line to take his 2nd victory of the season. And David Hatton will come across the line in 2nd place, with Tim Ellis in 3rd place. It's underway, and Dobesberger leads the field away. And Ismail Basso settling there into 2nd place.
I think Ficacci's made a mistake and put himself into Basso's grasp here. Basso's going to the inside.
That's going to be a brave move coming up the inside of Rivazza. Ficacci doesn't fight him and waves him through, but he's let the other guys pass. And Henny's gone round! Championship leader Danny Henny is facing the wrong way at Rivazza corner.
Comes Hatton to the outside of the first chicane.
Yeah, it's going to be tough to make it around the outside. It's going to be all on the brakes. If he can make it work, he can. Fantastic manoeuvre from David Hatton. Meanwhile, Alexander Dobesberger comes across the line and takes the victory in Race 2 from pole position. And it's Ismail Basso who comes across the line in 2nd place. And David Hatton third. Dobbersberger's race 2 win kept him in the title hunt. We are away for the start of race 3, but all eyes were on Stephen Williams as he battled his way to a maiden victory in race 3. As they come back towards the Villeneuve chicane, he's been able to hold on for now. There's John Lang and Stephen Williams side by side. Lang got ahead, and now Williams coming back at him on the outside of Tosa. And Lang getting a little squeeze there, I think, as he got very, very close to the back of Alex Drillsman's car. And once again, Williams has got the run to draw alongside. And is he going to try and make it round the outside of Piratella? No way through. Cuts back inside again, and he has drawn alongside. Is he going to be able to draw clear at Aqua Minerale? Yes, he is. Stephen Williams leads at Imola. Stephen Williams takes his first Missed Apex Formula Renault Challenge victory. It's side by side though, for second place between Hatton and Ellis, and has just picked him to it. All that means that Hatton is now 19 points clear of Henny, with Tim Ellis now taking third away from Dobbersberger after a strong showing. Stephen Williams takes the lead of the gold driver standings, with Barry Kemp still holding ground on the silver table. So this Suzuka circuit, a wonderful ribbon of tarmac initially created as a test circuit, and turns out to be a pretty damn good racetrack as well. And we've seen some fantastic action in the past here. Not just in Formula One Grand Prix racing, but I personally am a huge fan of the Suzuka 10 Hours. The fact that it was cancelled this year because of the global pandemic breaks my heart, and I hope to see it back in 2021 because there's nothing quite like the sight of 50 GT3 cars pounding around here in the middle of the night. But if you're not familiar with the Suzuka circuit, then we have a nice little hot lap for you. I say it's a hot lap because this week we got Richard Molden to do it, so it might be a little bit mild, but hopefully just as informative.
Welcome to a lap of Suzuka at sunset. Along we go on the front straight in 7th gear towards the first corner, which is creatively named First Corner. We're going to ease off the throttle just before the apex for the slight right, and then trail brake down to 3rd. Don't want to brake too hard because we're going to lose the back end and spin out. Straight back across for the optimal line into the Snake S's complex. We're going to use a lot of slight braking here to get the car to turn, down a gear. Throughout this whole complex we're balancing the car on the throttle to help steer it. You don't want to get too wide off that optimal line because you're going to lose a ton of time, but equally you don't want to be too conservative, otherwise you're going to have somebody straight up your gearbox. As we come out into Dunlop, we're going to be really patient on the accelerator, because if you go offline you're going to end up wide in the gravel like the car that's ahead of us. Towards Degner 1. It's going to be a short, sharp brake, down a gear, close your eyes a bit, turn right. Don't take it at too high a speed, otherwise you're going to lose the back end. Through Degner 2 in 3rd, and then accelerating up now towards the hairpin. At the hairpin, we can take it down into 2nd gear for better traction on the way out, or take it in first as we do here, so the car rotates better, but got to be gentle on the throttle on the way out, so as not to spin the rears. Didn't trouble the apex there, so we lost a couple of tenths. Now flat out on the throttles through 200R, moving up the gears, looking ahead to Spoon, where we're going to be braking, down into 5th for the first part, and then out to the outside curb using as much of the road as possible, but then slowing it down all the way into 3rd, which seems too slow, but otherwise you won't get the optimal line out, as if you get that wrong you're going to be an easy target on the back stretch. Again, up through the gears, we can take a little bit of a breath, come past the old pits, and we're approaching 130R, a left-hand turn, only absolutely flat out, only going to be a challenge if somebody's alongside you. And we come towards the infamous Casino Triangle chicane. Now braking too late for this and you're going to be straight into the grass and a slowdown. Braking too early and you're going to lose a ton of time, but we got that just about right. Patient on the throttle on the way out so we don't spin. Around last curve, past the big wheel, and that's a 2-minute lap. A respectable time for a lower midfield driver. The fast guys will be 2, maybe even 3 seconds a lap faster than that in quali trim.
Big thanks to Richard Molden for recording that for us. I will say, I know I poked fun at him, but he did set that lap during one of the officials' sessions, and that particular session had no grip whatsoever. And we were all jumping on thinking, is it just me or is there no grip at all? And it was most definitely the latter. We were all really, really struggling. So, gridding up for race 1, the feature race that is worth 60 points, and it will be Danny Henny on pole position. With Tim Ellis alongside him. Then Luca Harrison in third. David Hatton joining him on the second row. Kyle Power is fifth ahead of Brian Boomsma. James Wingfield right up there in seventh place. And Alexander Dobitzberger, another one of our championship contenders, in eighth place. Ishmael Basso, that's a strong qualifying from him. One of the strongest we've seen for a while. Right up there in the top 10. Lights are up and we're about to get underway for race 1 at Suzuka. The green flag has gone and Danny Henny leads the field away ahead of Tim Ellis. Luca Harrison immediately into that slipstream and David Hatton trying to follow in Ellis's footsteps. It's Harrison trying to fight around the outside for second place, but Ellis is just holding him off for now. David Hatton crucially keeping his nose clean. In behind them, Kyle Power slots into fifth place ahead of Brian Boomsma. So it's as you were for the top 5 as they make their way through the S's. James Wingfield gets away cleanly as well. Dobitzberger, Basso and Drillsma has pipped leader into the top 10. But for the most part, no changes of position and they're away cleanly.
That was all very gentlemanly into the first few corners there. They filed in nicely. Hatton is putting Harrison under pressure now.
Yeah, he's gone a little bit wide through Degner 2, gets himself beached up on that curb and now could well find himself under pressure from Kyle Power, who will have no hesitation to send one up the inside. And Hatton wide through the hairpin. He might give up the place here. Kyle Power draws alongside and could be about to take fourth place away from David Hatton. No, slots back into the slipstream as they head towards Spoon Curve. Boomsma looking to make a move as well on Power. So Power moves to that left-hand side and Boomsma might just slot right in between them. But it's as you were for now. Power getting right up in there. He's showing his nose and Hatton is forced out wide and Power has got the run he needs to take fourth place side by side coming out of Spoon Corner. And now it's to drag strip down towards the chicane.
Hatton really struggling with understeer. That's 2 corners that he's gone wide and allowed Power a sniff and they're just queuing up behind him. Wingfield getting in there as well.
Side by side through 130R on the opening lap is a brave move indeed. Wingfield had to back out of it. That's an open door for Dobitzberger to try and get through. But Power has not made a move on Hatton as yet. It's actually Boomsma who's putting him under pressure. And then there's a bit of a gap back to Dobitzberger as he was making his way through the order. He's actually gone wide and let Ishmael Basso repass him. And he could let Alex Drillsma through as well. But up at the front of the field, Tim Ellis moving to the right-hand side of the track to defend from Solon Harrison into turn 1. And it doesn't find a way through there. Sorry, Luca, I called you Solon. It was bound to happen at some point. So that battle for fourth place still red hot as they head through the S's section. But it still looks like Boomsma in 6th place there is the more comfortable of the 3 at the moment.
That's right, and just a little update from further down the field. Unfortunately, Ismail Basso into the first corner, just got it slightly wrong, got a bit of oversteer and ended up in the gravel, losing a ton of places there. He did it all by himself though. There was no net code or no punting involved there, I'm afraid.
He just picked up the position from Dobitzberger as well. So rising up through the order actually behind these guys, Stephen Williams in 8th place. Gregory Leader is in 9th from 10th place on the grid, and then Edward Shelley completes your top 10 at the moment. So Dobitzberger, after being the guy who was making the moves down into the chicane, is down in 12th place. That's not going to do his championship any favours, especially when all of his title rivals are fighting up at the front of the field.
Fighting is definitely the operative word. Danny is not pulling away. He's still within a second at the front, and Hatton is still under massive pressure from Carl Power coming down towards 130R. Hatton doing a little bit of weaving, trying to break the toe there. He's taking a cue from Danny Ricciardo in Formula 1 there, just trying to see if he can stop Kyle from just getting that little bit of an edge. But I don't think he's anywhere near close enough this lap. He'll have to try and line him up in a few moments' time. And then coming to the chicane, we got Ellis again under pressure from Harrison too.
Yeah, 3 of our title contenders in the top 4 at the moment. Henny and Ellis, 1 to 2, Hatton number 4. And once again, Ellis is moving to that right-hand side down the pit straight. Doesn't want to give Luca any opportunity, but it might actually make it easier for him to pass. Isn't able to draw alongside. All this playing into the hands of Danny Henny, who's just eked out the advantage to 1.2 seconds.
Ellis, with all that defending, went a little bit wide, so that's just kept Harrison tucked right underneath his rear wing as they come through the S's. He's not letting go, is he, Chris?
Absolutely not. You can kind of get away with running a little wide in turn 2 because it doesn't really delay you getting on the power all that much, and because it's such a short run into the S's section, you can just about get away with it. Kyle Power, meanwhile, tucked right up behind David Hatton. I think he just had to back out of that ever so slightly as they ran towards the first of the 2 Degners. So 2 very distinct battles happening right up the front of the field at the moment that could have quite big repercussions for the championship.
That's it. And you're actually saying about this circuit, we didn't mention the elevation change yet, and actually with these slightly underpowered cars, what that can mean is that if you lose a little bit of momentum at the bottom of the hill, it's very hard to then kind of bring it through. So actually coming up the S's, it's deceptive on the TV cameras. There's actually a massive hill. For those who've actually been there, it's quite a slog trying to cycle around the circuit. You get a lot out of breath up that section, I can tell you.
Well, think about how long this back straight is, where Luca Harrison is currently slipstreaming his way towards Tim Ellis and actually draws alongside this time towards the chicane. Is he going to be able to outbrake him when he gets there? Can he get it around the outside and take second place? Yes, he can. Luca Harrison up into second place in that number 38 car, but can Tim Ellis in the all green make his way back past as they head towards the timing line down the front straight? All this is allowing Hatton, Power and Boomsma to close in. Meanwhile, Ellis once again tries to retake the position. Can't make it round the outside of turn 1 though.
That was absolutely stunning from Harrison round the outside, and fair play from Ellis there. He left him just enough room, and I mean just enough, because he was right on the white line there. Fantastic move.
So we'll see if Harrison can pull away a little bit. Henny's advantage now 2 seconds. He became the first Missed Apex Formula Renault Challenge driver to win 2 races in one night at this circuit last season. So I'm not at all surprised to see him fighting up at the front of the field and indeed easing away. But we'll see if his luck continues in races 2 and 3 because he hasn't had the easiest time of it in the reverse grid races so far this season. Now Ellis looks like he could challenge again for second place. He's not letting Harrison go and is very much in the tow as they head back towards Spoon.
He's still got to watch out. They've got to watch out fighting here, though, because Hatton is closing in. He's less than almost half a second behind as Ellis does go to the outside. And Harrison gets a little squirrely on the exit. That means that he could be well under pressure here coming back into the chicane, Chris.
I'll tell you what, you just bleed time trying to go side by side through Spoon. And once again, we're back on this back straight where I was saying, think about how long it is in a Formula 1 car. It's even longer in one of these cars, and Ellis pulls out towards the outside. Who's going to be bravest through 130R? They are absolutely side by side going through the high-speed left-hander. Ellis still keeping his nose alongside, but he can't brake late enough to get up the inside, and Hatton very nearly went into the back of him at the apex of the chicane. Look at this train of cars now, 4-5 of them all battling over second place, and no wonder Luca is going over to the right-hand side towards turn 1. Ellis towards the outside. Hatton is going to make it 3 wide going in there. That's very brave indeed. He just backs out at the last second. But he's got back up the inside. They're going to touch, surely. My goodness, that was so close. And they're still side by side. Still side by side as they come through the S's. But Hatton has made his way into 3rd place.
Oh, and that's Kyle Power. He's hit one of the back markers as they've gone past.
We are currently watching the battle for second place continue because it's now David Hatton making his way towards the outside of Spoon corner. Harrison sees it coming and moves over on him. So Hatton's now got to try and go the long way around at Spoon corner, and that's a brave move indeed, but he's making it work. He's up on the curb, but he can't get through at the second apex. He cuts back and makes sure he gets the drive out of the corner, and he's already alongside him going towards 130R. He might have it done before they even get to the left-hander. Absolute neck and neck between Harrison and Hatton And Hatton's got to pull another brave move here like he did just a few corners ago. And they're still side by side coming down towards the chicane. But once again, it's Harrison who comes out on top. And actually, Ellis throws it up the inside of the chicane and retakes that final podium spot. A big kick of oversteer as he got on power on the exit of the corner. But it's Hatton back down into 4th place.
That was a ballsy move there from Ellis, just to shove it on the inside, and he was quite rude on the exit as he chopped across Hatton's nose, but that's what you've got to be around here because it is so tight. We're seeing some fantastic racing here, Chris, but it's all so clean.
Yeah, I mean, I'm astonished that Ellis and Hatton didn't come together. Maybe they rubbed wheels slightly, but I was expecting fireworks down there when they went side by side on the previous lap. Just fantastic racing as per usual, and between championship rivals. You don't get that in other series, do you? They all play it safe like good boring people. Speaking of championship contenders, Danny Henney now 5.7 seconds clear of these guys. They've been squabbling over second place. So these three still battling away for second place. Harrison, Ellis and Hatton. And could we about to see another change of position as they head back towards 130R? Harrison trying to break the toe, but Ellis is right with him. And could be side by side going into the chicane. Harrison goes defensive. Ellis not able to get alongside him on that particular occasion. And I think Harrison would have compromised his exit there as he was tight on the way in. And that could give Ellis the run he needs to pounce down into turn 1. Right in that slipstream, and they're again just riding the pit wall down the straight. And the back marker, Mark Greenhow, coming out of the pits. That could complicate matters. They've been able to navigate him on the way round turn 1.
Yep, it's all settled down going back up through the S's now. So we've got Danny Henney now a good 6.5 seconds ahead, followed by Harrison, Ellis and Hatton. Going back to behind them, though, we now have Stephen Williams, who is now in P5. He's made his way through with Drillsman just behind, and Derbertsberger. There's a good battle going on there as well. Derbertsberger just following very, very closely up through the S's. And this is quite tasty too.
So this battle for 5th place really is extraordinary. As Stephen
just
Williams,
as you say that,
is,
who's gone round? That was Derbertsberg. Oh, Drillsman went round. He was in that battle, and he's just gone round. And he's dropped so many places. That's such a shame because he was right in
it's
there.
a shame. There's a lap and a half from the finish as well.
So Derbertsberger now.
Sorry to cut over you there, but Harrison went a little bit wider than he would have wanted on the way into 130R, and it's closed right up between these three for second place. Back down the pit straight, now lacking 7.5 seconds to Henney, but these guys are squabbling over the final places on the podium, and Hatton wants to be on that podium because they're swapping and changing, moving left and right down the straight. Hatton thought about making it 3 wide again down into turn 1. Can't find a way through on that occasion. This is the final lap, so opportunities are running thin. Hatton wants to keep that podium tally going because, as I say, I think he's only been off the podium once this season, and at the moment he's involved in a mega scrap to be on the final spot of the rostrum for now.
So it's going to be into the hairpin or into the final chicane, I would have thought, Chris. It's
for Ellis as well, because he's got to be defending and attacking at the same time against what has been a sterling drive from Luca Harrison.
Yeah, the defensive work here has been top quality, and then he's had to just go straight back through and attack again. This is fantastic coming on the final lap.
So down into the hairpin, nobody making the moves, although I think they're setting each other up, each one just a little bit later to turn into the corner than the one ahead of them, trying to get the better exit. And I couldn't predict who's going to come out on top of this as they emerge from the chicane, but for now we've got Spoon Corner to navigate. And Ellis goes towards the outside, can't draw an overlap though, and Harrison resumes his racing line. And it's just going to be the Slipstream Festival down this back straight towards 130R and the final braking zone of the race. So who's going to come out on top in this battle for second place? Harrison moving towards the left-hand side. He wants to keep the defensive line going. And Ellis pulls out towards the outside. Hatton does the same. And Ellis getting squeezed out there. Hatton trying to take the opportunity, go around the outside. Ellis is looking towards the inside as well. It's as you were. Harrison has been able to hang on to it. Meanwhile, here's Danny Henney to take the victory in Suzuka. Hatton trying to sneak up and take the podium, placing it side by side across the line. Can't do it. So close in the end there. It's just a few hundredths of a second, 300ths. So they were side by side for the final spot on the podium last time out, and they've done the exact same thing here at Suzuka. But Danny Henney, he ends the first race in style with victory.
What a finish, Chris. That was incredible. That battle the whole way through the race was just stunning. And the final lap there, I thought Hatton was going to pip him at the line. He just got so tight, so close.
Oh, what a way to kick things off here at Suzuka. Just fantastic stuff. So we'll be right back with race 2, where, if I'm right, we will have in 20th place... it could be our very own Richard Spanish Ready, I think.